2, 1. Hey guys, megamatt1254 here again. Welcome back to another live stream. Joined by my good friends here, Wasteland World Official, Dan's Reviews, and Rowdy.
Howdy, guys.
What's up?
Alrighty, so today, guys, it's actually the return of the Sunday streams, but little announcement we're going to make before we get into this is the streams will be taking place on Saturdays now, guys, just due to AMC Plus being really stingy with the episodes. Like, now they're all releasing a week early, so it's going to be awkward to stream on Sundays now, just because people will be watching the AMC Plus episodes, and then the normal AMC viewers are going to think I'm talking about, like, that episode when I'm really talking about it differently. Just be a confusing disaster, guys. So, the streams will be moved to Saturday now, just so we can discuss the the episodes properly. Alright, so we'll give it 1 second here, guys. Before we start, I'm just going to send this out to a couple people here.
Sounds good.
Alright.
Hang on, let's see here.
There you are. And Matt still appears as Steve. Okay, well, actually, while Matt's doing that, y'all check out our new podcast episode where we discuss the problems of Microsoft and Minecraft.
Yeah!
Yeah. Long story short, guys, basically, yeah, Minecraft nowadays, not good.
No.
Yep,
No.
it's embarrassing.
Let's say, let's hope that maybe on the stream tonight, you guys will be able to see my Dan skin. All y'all that are watching. We'll see.
Microsoft says otherwise.
Exactly.
Alright, let's go to the streams chat, post that.
Sure did.
Alright. Well, we're about 2 minutes and 30 seconds in now, so I'm going to go ahead and start my review. Alright, so what did I think of The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 1? The long-awaited final season premiere of the main show. Well, guys, I've had about a week to sit on this episode, right? I've watched it a few times over, and I gotta say, guys, it's a good episode. It really is. It really is a fun watch. I really like the Commonwealth storyline this episode, and I like that it's mostly forgotten, like, the stuff from Splinter, which is good. Like, just doesn't feel like that episode happened. So, that's great, honestly, that we're past, like, those bad days. And we actually have, like, a good episode with the Commonwealth. They seem a lot more sinister in the show, too. Like, they seem very evil. Like, they're holding people up in cages. Like, there's, like, these 2 people that have been trapped there for, like, 9 months. Which just shows you that, like, yeah, they're, definitely not good people. Even Mercer kind of comes off as hostile in this episode. Like, you have, like, Ezekiel that's talking to him, and he's just kind of, like, staring him down. And I really like Michael Shaw's performance as Mercer. It's a great first, like, performance, and it's a great first, like, you know, impressions of the Mercer character. I am wondering if they're going to make him a villain going forward. Like, maybe they completely flip it and Mercer's actually, like, a villain in the show. That would actually be a cool little twist. But, okay, on to the main plot of the episode, guys, which is the subway tunnel plot. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. It is a great story this time around. It is a great episode. But there is one, like, problem I have with it, and it's the actually, it's like some people might not even care and be like, oh, like, you're just complaining. But, like, my problem with it is the treatment of Negan in this one. And no, not Negan's character. I think Negan in this episode is great as usual. It's the other characters acting, like, you know, terrible towards him. Like, every time he makes a suggestion, you have, like, some moron in the back, like, oh, hey, shut up, like, who asked you? And it just gets annoying, honestly. And, like, you have Daryl in this one that's antagonizing him. You have, like, Maggie that's pestering him the whole episode. And, honestly, and I really want to see what you guys think of this in the chat. When, Negan, like, leaves Maggie for dead, I sided with him. Like, I was actually, like, honestly, she asked for it. She brought the entire group into the subway tunnel just to assassinate Negan with no one else, like, to watch. And I just have to say, like, what a cowardly, stupid move on her part. And honestly, it makes her character look so freaking bad just because she's legit risking the entire group just to kill Negan. And you're telling me that Negan's in the wrong for defending himself, essentially? I can't see it, but obviously, like, it's a heated, topic in the Walking Dead community right now that I've been seeing. Like, Team Maggie, Team Negan. I'm fully Team Negan. Like, there's not even a question there. But, yeah, Negan's character in this episode, he was great. I really liked that he was really freaking sticking up for himself in this episode, guys. He wasn't having any of Maggie's shit, wasn't having any of freaking Daryl's shit either. Even Alden is like a bit of a hypocrite in this one, because he's like making fun of Negan, like, oh, I'm gonna put a gag in his mouth, and then like Negan just claps back at him. I'm just like, bruh, like friggin', you were a savior once too, you know? But, yeah, guys, music in this episode was great. The opening scene was really good. I really liked the opening scene. It is a cool little callback for most people that didn't pick up on it. It is definitely a callback to 301 with the, like the montage, and then you got, like, the silent, like, characters are all, like, silent, doing, like, killing walkers and all that. It's a cool little callback to Season 3. And, yeah, guys, overall, very good episode. All I wish they did was that they didn't have the characters hating on Negan. Just because, I don't know, it's been done to death since 9A at this point, guys. So yeah, my only flaw with the episode. But other than that, it's a solid watch. It's a fun premiere. And yeah, guys, my rating for this episode is going to be a 8.5 out of 10. And on to you, Wasteland World.
Alright, guys, so, this episode, I can say we're finally back to the goodness of, like back in the day when we had these great season premieres and stuff. Um, I can honestly say this season premiere is one of my favorites for sure. It's not quite as good as like 501 or season one premiere. It's up there though. I'll say that. We're finally back in those type of days, guys. Now, do I have any flaws with this episode? Then here's my thoughts on this episode. I think this episode, it's honestly for me personally, I think it's flawless. I don't have any problems with it. I think we got a cool like kind of Civil War ish type of episode, if you will. I mean, kind of like my friend Matt said earlier. Like you're either team Maggie or team Negan, and obviously, am I team Negan? Yes, 100%. Because guys, Negan this episode was easily my favorite character. He was just great. And honestly, people like to make the argument like, "Oh man, him leaving Maggie, that's like a big, that screws up his redemption arc." I'm sitting back here, I'm like, I think it helps it a bit. Like, not even gonna lie, like she freaking. I mean, well, put yourself in that dang situation. You just found out basically that she brought you down there to kill you. Um, I mean, you guys, any chance you would try to kill her before she tries to kill you, and don't say you won't because you would, and legit, you would. I mean, and but yeah, I mean, honestly, this episode was great. The Commonwealth stuff was very good. I mean, honestly, like, nobody in the Commonwealth story arc, can sit here and say like, I don't like that character. I really don't like because all of them were great this episode. Eugene is great as always. Uh, Ezekiel was great as all. I mean, it was great, way better than season 10 so far. I mean, obviously it's been a few scenes, but I'm just saying, like already, like he's better, and that shows you kind of how he is in season 10. Um, and then Yamiko, not terrible. I'm very interested in seeing the brother plot. How what's going to happen with the brother. Is he just going to be a waste of a character just to be there? Like, oh well, he's the guy from Yamiko's past. Woohoo! Oh my gosh, bring him to the show! Yay! Just to be there. Like, oh, that guy. Nah, if they do that, then I'm going to be pissed. They need to give him some kind of story. But yeah. Anyways, Yumiko was fun this episode. Princess is awesome this episode. And yeah, honestly, I mean, in Mercer 2, great introduction. I like how he's just kind of standing there observing them, watching every move they make. Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly, great stuff there. The subway tunnel plot, very good stuff. There's a nice creepiness to it. Pretty cool creepiness. And I'm sure that in episode 2 that will expand more. Um, but yeah, and I gotta say the opening scene of the episode was very well done, very well done. Great cinematography all around. And season 11, like the cinematography, already starting off with the big bang. Hopefully they can keep this up, which I'm sure they can due to their new budget and their new, film. The new, film, the ways they film. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like if it keeps going down this path, then holy crap. Especially like the scene, in season, and the opening scene, when you have Daryl, he gets his arm cut on the wheel, blood drops, and it like zooms in on the blood. You see it that stuff right there. That is some sick grade A level, and even in like 10C and stuff. Hate it or love it, whatever. You gotta admit, great cinematography. Like especially those scenes in like, for example, 1019. You should have like zoom ups on like the blood splattering like on flowers and stuff like that. Like that was cool. Um, but yeah, that cinematography 10 out of 10 as well. Um, Opening scene again, like I said, the army base, like run and stuff. Very awesome stuff there, and like kind of like how it starts off with like a zoom, not really, it more of like a, pan out of like Daryl, kind of just standing there and stuff, and you just got like this awesome music playing. Very cool stuff. Carol, even though she's in a bit of the episode, like only a few minutes, honestly, she was fine. I mean, she don't know what she had to do. People sit there and be like, like, oh man, what an idiot. She goes back and gets the MREs and stuff. I gotta sit here and disagree with those people. I gotta say, like, wouldn't you get the MREs? I mean, you're legit on a week's worth of food. I'm just saying. Um, but yeah, I mean, great stuff there. Um, these new warden characters, Duncan, Agatha, and Cole and Elijah we already met, but Duncan and Agatha in particular, they seem pretty interesting. Duncan, obviously more than the other. Just saying, like they could do some more stuff with him. I could see. Yep, and let's get to my favorite part of the episode now. And my favorite part is when Negan straight up tells it how as it is to Maggie. He's standing up to her, finally not taking her crap. He's like, "Hey, I spilled blood for this community. I saved everyone's lives. I legit saved everyone's lives. I killed the Alpha, and now all of a sudden you're back, and I get all my freedom taken away. Screw you. Screw your little stupid bull crap about killing me. All that stuff. I gotta say, like, dude, Negan, like, freaking right. And you kind of have like Gage and Roy. Yeah, Roy. I think that's his name. Yeah, Roy sticking up for him, which I got to say, like, awesome. Gage, I mean, hate that character, still do. Not They don't change on any, but I'm just saying, like, I do got to give him that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, like, I'm very hyped for episode 2. Very happy. I mean, very excited to see tonight the outcome of this story and stuff, and seeing where it goes. Um, yeah, guys. I mean, honestly, great stuff. The ending scene, loved it. I'm on Team Negan all the way. Screw Maggie right now. I don't really care for her. And yeah, guys. I'm gonna give this episode a 10 out of 10, guys. I'm gonna give it 10 out of 10. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the episode. I'm gonna head over to my bud Dan's reviews.
All right, so 1101 of The Walking Dead. Man, this was one hell of a return. I'm going to start off with that. Obviously, if you guys have seen my review, you guys know I gave it a 10, which, yeah, doing this, about a week later afterwards, had some time to kind of sit on it. Even after the review, I will still say I will stand on what I said is that this is a 10 out of 10 premiere. And I think it's great. I think it's honestly one of the best starts to a season Walking Dead has done in a while for me. Just because, well, at least if you want to compare to season 10, I think this season is on to a way better start. So, yeah, it definitely intrigues me for the season. But basically, this is what happens in this episode. We've got two storylines going on. We've got our survivors looking for food to try to rebuild Alexandria in the best possible way that they can, which I thought was a really cool plot because it's pure survival. That's really what it is. It really just takes me back to those earlier days where the survivors are struggling to survive, struggling to find food, just for another day. And that's what we get, and that's literally how to describe the opening minutes, as we see a bunch of walker kills. And I will say, I do actually like how they kind of did something different with the opening minutes. You kind of focus on the female characters, and I know Angela Kang kind of talked about that. They really just focus on how badass the female characters are in the opening minutes, which I think is kind of cool because that's also something we've never seen before. So I'll give them props on that as well. But basically, this is the thing, and I kind of didn't pick up on this right off the bat, but after about a day, I think, after watching the episode, I remember I kind of bring this to these guys' attention. I'm just like, honestly, it's very much like 301. It absolutely is. You've got no one talking. They're trying to find supplies. They try to get as much as they can. And when they, kind of finally do, they got to get out of there. They immediately got to get out of there. Obviously, they're not in a house. They're not, eating an owl or eating dog food and stuff like that. It's not the same circumstance, obviously, but it's just kind of a cool callback with no one saying anything. And then they got to, kind of get the hell out of there. So props to them on that. Really, actually, really, really enjoy that. And it's one of my favorite opening minutes we've seen in a while for an episode of Walking Dead 2, surprisingly. It's longer. It's like about 10 minutes, which keep in mind, guys, this episode's like 45 minutes. So they definitely took a lot of time to introduce the episode, which I'm fine with because I think it's very, very well done, just kind of the overall way it is. And I like the location. I really like as well how we kind of see, we start off with Daryl and the wings and stuff. I just kind of think it's a unique kind of way to start things off. And it's a cool way to start off the season. Like I said, cool zombie kills, cool kills from, all the female characters, Rosita, Carol, Maggie, Lydia, all of them. Yes, even Magna, she's there too. And just, all those characters. Pretty cool. Like I said, really, really like that opening scene a lot. Now, basically, yeah, we get introduced to some of Maggie's people. Duncan easily being the most intriguing for me. I really love the scene when you've got, Herschel Jr. that's like shoulders, and he's just like, he kind of acts like, okay, he's going to be some big dude that's just got this attitude. And then it just flips, and then he's got a big smile on his face. He's like, good to see you, man, I don't know. I like that. I like a funny scene like that, so thought that was really cool. And basically, we get to see, which I thought was really cool, them decide to go to the subway tunnel. And, you got characters like Negan and Gabriel, even Gage and them, they all kind of decide to go and help Maggie with this plan, help Maggie get some food for the community and, basically try to go there and do that. They have to pack it in because the rain, and basically they go in. And I love this episode, and I still stand by what I said about a 10 out of 10. But I will admit to one thing. It is very, very frustrating to see Daryl and, to see, a lot of our survivors, except for Gabriel. I'll give it to Gabriel. He didn't really do anything bad to Negan. The banter's the same. But Daryl, hey, because we're buddies or something. And, okay, long story short, Negan stands up for himself in this one, which I really appreciated because they're just treating him like crap, pushing him over, literally, like knocking him over as they're walking by. And basically, he even says, he's like, man, your head's not in the game because you're focused on me. Don't be acting like you know what you're doing. You're focused on me. So what do you say, Maggie? Let's just get it done. right here, right now, And he's like, man, she brought me here to kill me, And I just like how he's just like, whoever, whatever, is here, is any, thought of that cross y'all's minds? And he's just like, exactly. So this is a death march and all that. And I'm just like, man, honestly, bringing up valid points, calling Maggie out, also great. And for all the people that, say they're Team Maggie, and that's fine. I just want y'all to remember that, let's be honest here, Negan took a threat away from the community while Maggie is basically dumping this problem, these huge problems on our group, while they are struggling as it is. They are struggling to find supplies, and she's also on top of that giving them this threat. Like, oh my God. Maggie, I gotta say, thank you very much. You really have just outdone yourself with this one. So, anyway, basically, Negan stands up for himself. Maggie points a gun in his face. Daryl punches him in the face. He mentions Glenn, so Daryl gets pissed off. Feels like he has the need to punch Negan after all these seasons. So the character development has not changed at all with Daryl. Queen Maggie's back. Daryl has to obey by what Queen Maggie says, and that's Daryl for you in this episode. But basically, yeah, Negan in this episode, he makes a choice. Which, let's talk about this. The choice he makes to leave Maggie for dead. All right, this is a hot button topic because everybody is not a fan of this, and this is what I'm saying, okay? If Maggie pointed a gun in your face and she said that I brought you out here and I'm going to bring you out here to kill you, would you just let her die? I'm sorry. I don't care if you're Negan. I don't care if you're this or that. I don't care what character you are. It's not about Negan at this point. That's not what this is. Any human being that would get a gun pointed in their face and being straight up told that they are brought out there to be killed, then that person is screaming for help and begging for their life. Do you save them or do you just let them die? In that world, in that situation, I don't blame Negan a damn bit because honestly, it makes sense. It absolutely does. So when he left her, and I know that this is a hot button topic, I'm Team Negan. I absolutely am. I think that this, and especially just everything that's gone on, Negan, everything he's done, even Daryl kind of started to be all right with him after a bit. And now we're right back to square one, which is really what annoys me. I'm going to say this, guys. I get it. I don't really understand why anybody could understand what Maggie's doing anymore. All she's doing is putting the group in danger. Negan literally says that to her. I agree with him. And, Negan is, and I love it. He's like, does anybody here know how to read a goddamn map? Like, okay, like, I know the way around here. I know the way around DC. You idiots could have just gone without me. Why do I need to lead the way just for y'all to not say thank you, not say a damn thing, take the supplies, not give me credit at all, and probably put a bullet in my head when we're done? Like, that's the thing that they have planned with Negan. And honestly, with everything Negan did for them, honestly, I don't understand why they can't at least give him some credit. And they were starting to till Maggie returns. So, just saying, Team Negan all the way this episode. So, all right. That's that stuff. Can't wait to see where that goes. And obviously by episode 2, we'll see where that goes with Negan, in terms of him. I don't think his redemption arc is ruined. If anything, it's just adding to why I understand him more than I understand Maggie. And, that's that. Now, all right, let's talk about the other plot in this one. We get to see the Commonwealth, which I thought was very, very cool. I really have no complaints here either. We basically focus on, Eugene and them through the interview process, which I'm going to be honest, this is the funniest part of the episode. I love this when you've got, all the questions, you see the hours going by, and basically, you've just got them asking them all these weird questions like, what do you use to wipe and all that crap? Love it. And, it's like all this stuff. Yumiko's like, oh, like, how would I remember these dates of, whatever? And Eugene's like, oh, from this year to this year, and then at this year it changed to this, Eugene just remembers everything, bro. That's one thing you gotta love about Eugene. Yumiko's like, why would anybody remember that? And it's like, yeah, Eugene remembers, that's who. And basically, the interview process goes well. We get our first look at Mercer, which obviously, Michael doing a fantastic job already, really kind of coming off as a really kind of intimidating, not sure what to kind of think, uneasy type of role so far. So definitely very cool. I really like it so far, and I think he's going to do great on this show. I really like him and Ezekiel and kind of their banter back and forth. And basically, Princess, that's another character. Really enjoyed her. I mean, I've never had anything against the Princess character, but I will say that her character really has, gotten even better, I would say, this episode. Kind of figuring out a way, even unintentionally trying to figure out a way. She's like, oh, like they switch shifts and they're gone from this amount of time and stuff like that. And then she's all looking at them and she's like, oh, and it's just cool because then you got Eugene that doesn't want to leave. Then they see the guy going to be reprocessed, and he's like, okay, we got to go, And it's just like a scene where it's like, all right, we get into the Wall of the Lost, which was kind of what we leave this off on, and I'm very interested to see how they handle this in the show, definitely. And I think it's being, set up well. I'll definitely say that. Obviously, it's not going to be as big as the comics because we don't have Michonne. It's not, no offense to Yumiko, she's not as big of a character as Michonne. But, I think they're starting off good. So I'm going to give credit where credit is due here. And I like it. I think it's going to go in a pretty cool place. And obviously by episode 2, and this is just kind of what I'm thinking, like, we're going to see Ezekiel probably be questioned about his cancer, because you can kind of tell they're catching on about it. And that's why he's probably taken. So excited to see where that goes. Excited to see where the Wall of the Lost storyline goes. Hopefully they don't, flesh out the Commonwealth too much. Hopefully it's wrapped up in a pretty, short amount of time. But I'm going to close off this segment, guys, with just saying that after a week, after sitting on the episode, I still stand by what I said in my review, and I'm going to stand by it. This is a 10 out of 10 episode. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's everything that you want. And even though I don't like the Negan hate, I don't appreciate, our characters acting like that. The reason it remains a 10 just for me is because if you have a episode that makes you so damn invested to where you're actually judging characters like Daryl or Maggie or characters like this, if you are so invested and you're going back, no, Maggie's right, Negan's right, this character's right, this character, if you're that into it and you're that passionate about it, I'm sorry, they've done something right. And that's where I got to give them credit because guess what? The fans are talking. The fans are absolutely talking. The fans are taking sides, all this stuff. And that leaves me with the pleasant conclusion, guys, that I think this is a knockout 10 out of 10 premiere on my end. So that's it for my segment. I'm going to now hand it over to my buddy, Rowdy.
Really phenomenal start to season 11, especially after the kind of like slower and smaller episodes. Very big episode. One of my favorite episodes when it comes to cinematography, honestly. Like, it saw with the blood in the opening minutes with I think Daryl playing his dad in with the blood fall and his walking. This new director, I think Kevin Allen, his name, is going to come and see what he does with future episodes. The Negan stuff was definitely a highlight. I love Negan this episode as usual. I love the whole conflict with him and the other characters. He's really not taking shit from anybody. Like, he knows he's hurt his teeth. He's saving people. He's literally the reason these people are still here. And he didn't do what he did with Alpha. Alpha was right to the right now. And I just love that he's really... He's not taking shit from anybody. And I like that. And I do want that bit that very especially in the segment pretty much especially like Maggie, I mean I saw it coming, it was obvious he was gonna do that, but Daryl I am like especially with Daryl was kind of backing him up back at the time.
Hey, Rowdy, your audio's not on party share. No one can hear you, dude. Can you go fix that real quick? Thank you. Apologize for the technical difficulties, everyone. Yeah, restart your segment. But get your audio on party share.
Yeah, keep turning off. Okay, there we go. It's on party share now.
Perfect. Alright, my apologies, everyone.
Alright, so I'm going to restart my segment now. So basically, I was saying, so yeah, I was saying I love this episode. Honestly, phenomenal season premiere. It's my second favorite season premiere of the main show. Honestly, the only one that beats it is No Sanctuary. And if you want to get technical, I could say the end is the beginning from Fear would also beat this one. However, that's not going to say much because I stand by this episode. Phenomenal start to the 11th season. I love the vibe of it, the much bigger vibe and the grander vibe. You can tell, like, because season 10, like in 10C, you could tell there was a lot of issues when it came to COVID-19. So there was a lot of limitations. Like, you couldn't have a lot of walkers on screen. Characters couldn't really get close to each other. So there was a lot of those limitations, but that's completely gone in season 11. Another thing I gotta compliment is the cinematography in this episode. Honestly, this is one of my favorite episodes when it comes to that department. I think Kevin Dowling, who directed this episode, and he is a new one, did phenomenal. I love the scene with the blood falling at the opening minutes on like the sleeping walkers. That is honestly a phenomenal scene. It's very well shot, and honestly, the cinematography. It's not even just that; it's just the whole episode. I love the vibe of it with the music, just the creepy, eerie vibe with the sounds when they're in the subway tunnels. Negan is phenomenal as usual. I love how he's really standing up for himself now, because he knows like people are like treating him like shit in the subway tunnels. Like you have Maggie, Daryl, and everyone else practically being like, "Oh, Negan, shut up. You don't have a say in this." And he doesn't just take it. He really fires back at everyone because he knows, like, he's earned his keep. He's done more than enough for these people, and it's kind of frustrating. Not in like a writing sense, because I like that it does this in the writing with everyone kind of treating like shit, and you're kind of it really makes you side with Negan, even those who like are really big fans of, let's say, Daryl or some other characters, right? And I think that's phenomenal. So yeah, I love the conflicts between Negan and Maggie. Those are easily the standout scenes. Because Maggie's definitely the biggest one when it comes to Negan's conflict. She's really accusing him, and then she basically snaps. Daryl punches Negan, and then Maggie aims the gun, and like it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill you. I brought you down here to kill you, and I don't know how long it's gonna be before I do, but I am gonna kill you. So honestly, when it comes to that, especially after that, I cannot blame Negan at all for what he did at the end of the episode with him technically dropping Maggie and letting her quote unquote die. Though obviously she's fine. I get what Negan did, and I fully support it. And I'm fully Team Negan. I mean, why would Negan save Maggie just because just because he wants to be a good person? I doubt him saving her is going to do anything, so I'm completely Team Negan when it comes to that. And I'm curious to see where it goes with that, because obviously, we know Maggie's fine, obviously. We've seen it in the trailer. She's fine. So, yeah, I have no worries about that, and I'm curious to see where that goes. I'm going to go over to the Commonwealth stuff now. I think this is very well done. Huge step up from Splinter. We actually really got a lot of Commonwealth stuff with the auditors interrogating our characters, asking them weird ass questions. I love Eugene, a bit of a nice comedic scene with Eugene, with everyone being like, "What the hell? Why would we know our zip code?" And then Eugene literally just says a bunch of his zip codes. Thought that was awesome. We see all these people trapped there, and I love how they're showing a much darker side to the Commonwealth instead of the comics. Instead of them just being like, "Oh hey, you're in our community now, welcome." They seem to be a lot more strict about who they let into their community. And I'm curious if this means if the Commonwealth is actually going to be smaller than it was in the comics. Like, is it going to be 50,000 people in the show or not? So curious to see what that's going to be. Yamiko is a surprisingly standout character. I never had anything against the character, but this is easily the best episode when it comes to the character, and she's definitely growing on me. Glad to see that she's going to be getting that Michonne storyline. Obviously, it's not as big of a character as Michonne, and unlike her daughter, who was mentioned a lot in the comics when it comes to Michonne, I don't think Yumiko ever mentioned her brother, so that is a bit weird. But honestly, that doesn't worry me. I'm just curious to see like what their relationship's going to be like when he shows up later on. And then they were going to escape, and they decide not to. Princess is also pretty good. However, I do have to say, I do find the scene where she's talking about like the two Commonwealth soldiers like flirting and stuff, and like going into a room to take off their armor and stuff. I do find that a little bit cringy. But if I really had to flaw the episode, it's only in that department, to be honest. And even then, it's not going to stop me from giving this episode a full-on 10 out of 10. It's phenomenal. To be quite frank, it's a masterpiece. And I can't wait to see where it goes, because Season 11, goddamn, is it off to a good start. So I think that's all I really have to say about this segment, and I'm just going to hand it back to my good friend Megamatt. Thank you, guys.
Alrighty, and that is everyone's review segment, and yeah, overall, like, positive reception of the episode from everybody from what I'm seeing in the chat, too, so, yeah, Walking Dead definitely coming back swinging with its return, and it's really good to see, because honestly, we haven't had, like, a really solid season premiere like this in a good while, so it was really good to see, like, a awesome, like, kick-ass return for The Walking Dead. And, yeah, I'm actually really curious, for anyone in the chat right now, are you guys Team Negan or Team Maggie? And if so, I'd be curious to know why.
You know where we stand.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite obvious that all four of us in here are Team Negan.
Yeah, there's no comparison for me, honestly, just because Maggie in this episode, bro, oh my god, she drove me crazy.
Yeah, she's unbearable. She's unbearable. Like, it's not like a writing problem. I think I like what they're doing with I like what they're doing with it, honestly.
Yep, just gonna read the chat real quick. Hey Dom, welcome to the stream. Hey Walker Dead. Welcome everyone.
Man, you know, it kind of, another scene I forgot to bring up that just pissed me right off with this episode as well is the scene with Maggie too, when you've got like Maggie and she's like pointing the gun in Negan's face and then she's just like, yeah, they're coming here, they're here with me because that's what everyone voted. I'm like, I don't recall seeing everybody vote. All I recall is seeing people go on a run. That's, no one said you were in charge, Maggie, I follow you. Like, no.
Exactly.
To be quite frank, it's ridiculous. Like, think about it. Maggie's been gone for, like, what, 6 years in her storyline? She left probably not long after Rick's appearance, and, like, she's back after she abandoned them as, like, oh, you're our leader now.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's just a little ridiculous to me, honestly, because I'm like, man, y'all didn't vote for her to be in charge. Daryl said, I'll go on a run with you, and everyone followed. Not, Maggie, you're the leader. Please tell us what to do. Like, frick.
Exactly. Man, I'm telling you, dude, freaking Negan this episode, man, honestly, he's the best character this episode, and honestly, I was just super happy to see him finally sticking up for himself, because when he started getting pushed around, I was worried that this episode would have just been Negan sitting there being freaking, like, treated like crap for the whole thing, and him just taking it, but I was actually glad to see that he wasn't sitting there just accepting, you know, the group treating him like that anymore.
Yeah.
Agreed. It's not... Again, it is frustrating that this episode's a bit of like, oh, let's bully Negan for an hour, but it's not a bad in a sense like it's bad writing. I think it's well done, to be honest. And it's a good way to show, like, look, Negan knows. Negan cares about these people. He sees them as his people, and he'll fight for them. But he's also telling them, like, look, I saved your asses. You know, I'm the reason you're all alive, and then this lady is coming in and acting like she's in charge, when she's literally done nothing but bad. And especially now that the Reapers are coming in. Frickin' Negan saved way more lives during the Whisperer War than he ever killed during the Savior arc.
Yeah, I'm just reading the chat here. Team Negan because Negan has the right to not trust Maggie because Maggie still wants to kill him. I see Maggie dying. I mean, here's, like, we all are predicting this, is that she's gonna die in the series finale. That's what we're all thinking right now. She's gonna take the Rick Grimes death from the comics.
Yeah. Agreed,
Hey Matt, I'm not a fan of Maggie anymore, bro. Me personally, I haven't been a fan of her since season 7. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. Season 8 is when she got bad for me. 7, she was still decent, but ever since season 8, I don't know, I have lost respect for the character.
It's kind of crazy, too, that we've gotten to a point where it's like, me, I mean, I'm not going to speak for anyone here, but I can at least speak for myself, and, well, Matt just shared his opinion, so I can say for him as well, like, you know, Maggie, yeah, I've never liked her until season 8. Like, since season 8, I was never a fan. And it is kind of crazy seeing the chat actually now, too, that, it seems like everyone's kind of catching up with us now.
Well, yeah, like, I'm reading the chat here, and everyone is saying, like, yeah, like, screw Maggie, like, she's terrible, she's not a good character anymore, and it's just crazy to say that, because I guarantee you, like, back in the day, like, during even the Season 9 days, there'd probably still be a lot of people that would stick up for Maggie, but honestly, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, guys, she had her chance in 905, she chose not to kill him, end of story, done.
Yeah, look, if she killed him at the end of season 8, whatever, fine. But yeah, now it's been 3 seasons. Negan's redeemed himself. So honestly, Maggie, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, and it's funny too, like that, you know, The Walking Dead's still promoting this, like, will Negan be able to redeem himself? I'm like, bro, the redemption's done. Get another arc going here.
If anything, Maggie should be able to. She should try to redeem herself for friggin' being such an idiot and annoying and pissing off all the fans. Like honestly, that's the real question here.
Yeah.
Think about it, right? Like they released these character arcs or whatever recently, and literally Negan is tagged as the redeemed one.
Well, he has been. I'll agree with that.
He is a redeemed character, but here's the thing, right? And this is actually what's cool so far with Negan. And honestly, it's actually really cool is that, keep in mind, guys, at this point in the comics, Negan was out of the story. During the Commonwealth arc, Negan is gone, and he's nowhere to be seen until, like, issue 193. So, for the first TV original Negan story, I gotta say, it's off to a great start with on Negan's end of things.
I just hope, like, I know you guys can attest to this, I just hope it doesn't drag out for, like, the entire half season of him and Maggie just going back and forth. More targeted towards Maggie, but...
My opinion...
Half season. Go ahead.
My opinion is that something's gonna happen with, like, the Reapers. Maybe Negan will help her then, because we do have that clip of, them in the woods and all that. My opinion is they're gonna gain a mutual respect for each other. They're never gonna like each other whatsoever, but maybe they'll gain like a mutual respect for each other or something.
That's what I'm thinking, because keep in mind there is also that screenshot in episode 2 with Maggie. It's like the same scene where she's you can clearly see Maggie's like in the train with them too. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, she clearly survives, and she's clearly in that very scene when Negan's, like, being questioned by Duncan. So I'm like, okay, she's clearly fine. You see a screenshot of her. She's completely fine. So what I'm thinking is that, honestly, it's probably going to be to a point where it's going to be like, you know, she can be pissed, but why do I almost feel like she's just going to be like, yeah, I honestly expected that from you, so you know what? This doesn't change anything. Like, I feel like they are going to kind of just, like, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be resolved quicker than everybody's thinking.
Yep. Maggie had her chance to kill Negan in 905, and she comes back to try to kill Negan again. Just so frustrating. Well, yeah, agreed, because she left him in the cell in 905, and she already basically said she's made her peace with the whole Negan stuff in 905, so it's like, okay, it's done. And then in 1017... she starts kind of, you know, being annoying again about it, but I didn't think too much of it at the time, honestly. And 1022, still like, whatever, it wasn't terrible, it was just whatever. And then in this episode, it's back in full force, man, the whole Maggie trying to kill Negan, and it's just like... Honestly, guys, just writing-wise, I'd like to move past this, honestly, just because it feels like we're just repeating old shit here now. Like, we're talking about Glenn again still. I'm like, this stuff happened in Season 7, man. Like, can we move on to some new storylines here?
I will say, too, this is another thing that, you know, I said, and I still, this is why, though, I'm just saying I have to give props to the episode, even though, yes, we're repeating old things, which is one flaw, I will say, you know, it is obvious, but this is why I still got to give the episode credit, though. It's because look at the audience, okay? Look, you know, if you get an audience that is, you know, this passionate about something, or that's arguing back and forth, or that's giving, you know, their sides and all these arguments and all these, you know, I don't know. When I see that in entertainment, I don't care what it is, Walking Dead, it can really be anything. If you get your audience that passionate about something of like, Negan is great, Maggie is terrible, Maggie is great, Negan is terrible, either way, the fact that you can get people talking this, this much tells me they did something right. That's all I'm saying.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, yeah, yes, I'm complaining about Maggie a lot, and we all are, but it's not in the sense of on the writing. I just hope again it doesn't drag too long, and I could see, like I said, like they were saying, I could see there being a mutual respect for the two characters, honestly.
Yeah. Well, here's how I'll go off it, right? If we're still like by 11:07 and stuff, and this is still happening, then I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna enjoy it, like, this plot at all anymore. Like, say, like, the entirety of 11A is this, I'm not gonna enjoy it, but if it gets resolved quick and we move on to new stuff, then I'll, I'll be kinder on it.
Well,
Agreed.
I would honestly like to see, just because this is the final season, keep in mind, guys, like,
Yeah.
I would actually like to see something like this where, you get, the things kind of starting to calm down between the two of them. Yes, it's never going to be normal, but would it be cool to, like, by 11B or 11C or something like that, like, you actually get a weird, we have no choice, we have to team up, we don't like each other, but you know what, like, I don't know. They really could do some really cool storytelling with this. That's all I'm saying. Like, they've
Agreed.
got a chance to do something really unique.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be
Plus,
good for
like,
Maggie.
I gotta say too, like, there's still that scene, right, in season 11. I'm sure, I'm sure it's gonna be in 1102, but it's the scene where Negan, Daryl is telling Maggie, like, "Hey Maggie, like, if you trust him, I trust him." I kind of think, like, in that sense, in that scene, like, obviously I'll see tonight, but I think it's gonna be like a type of thing, like Maggie's like, all right, like, whatever, like, I to be fair, I brought him down here to kill him. He got it back on me, whatever. I'm not gonna fully trust him and stuff, like, but hey, you know what? I'll give it a shot to work with him. And then I kind of think, like, that's what that scene will be like, and they're all like, hey, you know what? If you can trust him, I'll trust him. That type of thing.
Yeah, agreed. Honestly, I think it's gonna be like that, and like, I think they'll end up like they're never gonna become friends. And honestly, I don't want them to become friends, but I want them to be able to coexist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would just be an odd duo, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, you see those scenes in the trailers and stuff, and this is what I'm saying. We're sitting here pissed off at Maggie now, and man, if anything, man, can she be redeemed? When I say that, then that's the number one thing. I'm just saying, I would love if we could close The Walking Dead, and whether or not they kill Maggie or not, that's up to them. If they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. But I'm just saying that if they at least somehow make Maggie tolerable in the rest of the season, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to end the story where she's actually not this freaking bad.
Agreed.
Agreed. I want that. I want to be. Cause I want to be able to like Maggie. But as you guys mentioned, she hasn't been likable since season 8. Even for me, I might even go back to even season 7. Like, Maggie's last genuinely really good season was 6, I'd say.
Well, for me, like, I think, like, as soon as Glenn died, it's and like like, as soon as Glenn died, that's when her character they just don't know what to do with her anymore. Really,
Agreed.
just
Honestly,
throwing stuff in there.
agreed. I mean, okay, she's not completely awful in 7, but you see the downfall. Then pretty much 8 and onwards, she's been absolutely abysmal.
When she came back in season 10, episode 16, I was kind of. I have a feeling I'm probably one of the only ones that kind of felt like this. Let me know if I'm wrong. No, when she came back in 1016, I was actually legitimately like, you know what? They've got a chance to make her pretty cool. She's got a cool outfit now. She's got a cool group. Like, you know what? It's pretty cool what they're doing with her. Like, maybe they'll do something cool. And then Home Sweet Home, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I actually still like her in that episode. I think she's pretty good. And then, and then we see her in 22. I'm like, shit. And
Yeah.
basically since then, and this one just kind of did it for us. Well, pretty much all of us here. We're just like, all right, you know what? We're back to the bullshit again. So let's just hope that some of those scenes with her and Negan in the trailer are actually what it looks like, and we'll see an odd duo, because I think that'd be pretty darn cool.
Yeah, here's my prediction with it, right, is either they're gonna gain a mutual respect for each other, or this is gonna be some Season 5 Walking Dead trailer stuff where we're being thrown off completely.
I could see them doing that, but I don't know. I don't want this half to just be Maggie bullying Negan.
Well, if that's
Agreed.
the case, then literally most of 11A will just be, hey guys, do you want to rehash an old storyline that fans argued about 5 years ago? That's not going to be good, in my opinion, if they keep that storyline going for all of 11A. Here's what I hope for, right? Is 1102, more than likely, unfortunately, we're probably still going to be dealing with this. And then 1103, I don't think we're going to have Maggie or Negan in. And then in 4, potentially, I could see something happen. And then 5, they finally resolve some of their issues and stuff.
But keep in mind, though, that's 5. Like, you know, you're already going through a good portion of that half season there. Like, you know, it kind of relates back to, I forget who said this, apologies, but someone just said this, is that, and I have to relate back to it, is that it's like, you know what? You know, Maggie, when, you know, the whole thing about Maggie, you know, it's that it's like, all right, she is, you know, she's back and she's, you know, kind of controlling and all this stuff. But it's like, man, honestly, she had a chance to kill him. If she would have killed him in 905, that's great. But it's like, what someone said is that, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? They never had a plan. They never did. They never had a plan for Maggie to come back. I feel like Angela just kind of said that just in case Lauren wanted to, and then she could just fit it in. But you guarantee that they probably are just now like, ah, crap, what do we do with Maggie? Well, we got this old storyline. Let's just try to remix it a bit.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, is the Neil Druckmann rumor true? Is he really directing episodes? Obviously, I can't confirm, but I doubt it highly, because at this point, we would see his name on the credits. We would see, you know, people talking about him. So, as far as I know, yeah, I doubt it highly. I don't think he's around.
Yeah, it was like bogus.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think it's just people bored during quarantine and coming up with some random crap, guys, honestly, to put it
Exactly.
with y'all.
Well, at this point, if he was around, you would have seen him somewhere. You would have heard about it. You would have seen his name on the opening credits, which, not to change the subject randomly, but the opening credits, Kaylin McAuliffe is on there now. So I'm curious in the chat, what do you guys think about Alden being a like A-lister now? Like, he's a main character. He's gonna be around with like all the other like main characters, and he's gonna have a major plot this season. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, just on my end, it's driving me nuts because literally Negan has had way more screen time than this guy, plus been around longer, and you literally see his name show up, and then it says, and. No, not just Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I'm like, how about you put and for Alden's actor? Like, dude, the guy legit is here, and you're putting his name before JDM? Wow. And also, not to, you know, this ain't nothing against the actor, but I will judge the character for darn sure. He's not starting off too darn good as an A-lister in this one. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Yeah, like, bruh, I don't even like Alden. Like, I don't want this guy to be a main character.
Yeah, and they added Cooper on there as well, which that one's cool. It's really nice to see Cooper Andrews on there now, finally, because Jerry's a fan favorite, and if anyone deserves to be in those opening credits for a while now, it's been him, I'd say.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Man, not to stir the pot and start up a crazy conversation because, dare I say this, people will freak. Call me crazy in the chat, guys. I am going to call it now. I honestly could see Jerry dying, and that's why they're putting him at the forefront. I could.
Intentionally.
Well, it's either Jerry or Ezekiel.
11, if it happens, 11B. But I honestly, I'm going to be 50-50, but I could see it.
Yeah, but everyone's talking right now. They're like, oh, Ezekiel, man, he's not safe. I don't think he's going to make it. Like, you know, it's not looking too good. I'm telling you, this would be a crazy twist in the history of twists, man, honestly, if they just pulled the opposite and actually killed Jerry. Just, you know, and obviously I'm just saying that because it is just kind of odd to me. I don't know what it is. It's very odd to me that his name is just there all of a sudden. Like I said, he deserves it, but something's not right. I don't know.
What's your opinion with Kaylin McAuliffe on there?
I don't like it just because it's, you know, if anything, if they want to include his name, they can just put Jeffrey Dean Morgan first. Is all I'm saying. But you know, I'm gonna be honest, and this one, I have a feeling even y'all are gonna disagree with me on this. I would rather Eleanor on there instead of him. I'm even more interested in her character right now.
Yeah, at least
Agreed.
like think about it, at least they've been promoting the shit out of Yumiko, so it's obvious that she's gonna have a role.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since I've seen the episode. It's been a few days. Is Michael on the intro or no?
No.
Nice.
Man, oh, speaking of the intro, they like almost didn't change it at all.
There's a few minor changes. There's Commonwealth soldiers at the end. I think Dog's on there now. The Pikes are gone, which I wish those were still there, because, you know, that's a part of Walking Dead history that shouldn't have been removed from the intro, in my opinion. This is just my take on the intro overall. I don't know, it's disappointing. For the final season intro, that's what we're leaving off with, is that, I don't know, like, it should have been a grand spectacle, like, major final intro, not just, like, oh, a little updated version of the cartoon intro from seasons 9 and 10, like, they should have gone all out for this, in my opinion, this intro.
It could have changed. It could change down the line. Obviously, like maybe 11C it'll really change. But honestly, they don't do major intro changes in the middle of the season.
No.
In that case, like, if you're going to change it each half, then why don't you start off with the one you're going to change it to?
Man, you know what? Relating back to what Matt said, though, about the intro, I actually have to kind of look at it in this kind of perspective now. And I actually kind of like that Matt brought this up because it's made me kind of think of this here for a sec. Is that literally the intro for season 9 and 10? You know, you've got all these things like Matt said, like, you know, the Pike scene or something, like how that should be there because it's part of Walking Dead history. That's kind of what the intro, the Kang era intro kind of is reminding me of now. Call me crazy, but this is kind of what it's like. It's almost like the Walking Dead museum. Like, you just see all these things, like, you know, from the old days, like all this stuff, you know? And it's like how far it's come. So, I don't know. It's almost like the Walking Dead museum. You know, you just like know all this stuff from the history of Walking Dead and all that. That's kind of how I look at the intro in a weird way.
It's a cool way of looking at it. I just wish they didn't remove, like, stuff off it, though, is all I'm saying.
But they should have done right. Well, I mean, again, like, bringing that up, just saying, what if, like, the intro could, like, have, like, for example, like, as it goes on from each season, like, what I'm saying here is, like, it goes from each, okay, say from the start of it, you get the biggest one from season 1. Then you get the biggest one from season 2, biggest one from season 3, biggest one from season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And the more it goes on, the more, you know, like, that's what the intro could have been, you know.
That would have been cool. You know what I would have loved for it personally is like a little reference intro, and it's like the season 1 like intro days where you have like the kind of like yellowish like, you know, zombie filter over it. You're seeing like all these locations. You got like the names around and all that. Like, I don't know. I would have liked to have gone back to that personally.
Exactly. Plus, you know, I don't know. The intro to me, I really, you know, with Walking Dead intros, this is kind of how I feel about it. You know, the first season, like, well, you know what, 2 seasons is very unique. Then season 3, season 4, decent follow up. Then 5 to like 8, I was like, you know, I don't know how I feel about it anymore. And then season 9, I'll be honest, this is just me, obviously, just speaking my end here. I like the season 9 intro. But keep in mind, at first, I was like, you know what? This is a really cool switch up. I like this. And then season 10, I'm like, you know what? I'm actually already kind of bored of this. And then 11, it just didn't really change. It just feels like season 10, honestly.
Yeah,
Yep.
I see where you're coming from. Like, I'm not saying like let's say the fear intros. I want them to keep those intros for fear, but it would have been nice to have something more, I guess, gonna be adapted to the episodes, you know.
Well, here's one thing I'll give the Fear intros, is at least they're unique every time around, where with The Walking Dead, it feels tired now, the intro.
Yeah. Low key, like, I don't want to, like, toot my own horn, but I feel like my Atron intro I did for part 1 is better than the actual one, the new intro for the main show.
I don't know, the new intro's fine, I guess, but I don't know. It ain't nothing to write home about, in my opinion.
It's more the
Nothing-
same. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
It's
don't
the
know.
same tired formula they've been doing for 12 years now. Is you just have the same old music, the same old, like, you know, normal stuff. I don't know, like, but the final season, I would have liked to have seen a new rendition of the music, and I would have liked to have seen them go all out with, like, a badass final intro. When, in my opinion, like, I do video editing, so, like, I know, like, a lot of video editing stuff. This intro, I could just tell they slapped this together in a day and called it a day, honestly.
Well, this is
Yeah.
what I'm saying, right? Is that the season 11 intro, if you want my honest, brief opinion on this, I would have honestly just done something this simple. Like, even this would have honestly made things very different. Is that you kind of go for your, season like 3, 4 style maybe intro, where you've got different locations. Like, let's say one of them is a more destroyed looking Alexandria, burned down hilltop, abandoned kingdom, abandoned sanctuary. You see maybe our first little pan of the Commonwealth, the Reaper's location, a cell like where Daryl's going to be at later in the season. Maybe you see, a few shots like that, kind of explore some of the locations of the season and they're empty, like it's kind of like an apocalyptic look to it. And, maybe even, just random locations like that. I kind of feel like, maybe even like a, train tracks or something, because we're going to see maybe a bit more of that. Like, I don't know, stuff like that to either relate or also show some of the current locations, I just would have appreciated more, to be honest.
Yep. Hey, DeRosa, welcome to the stream, homie. We're just talking about Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 1.
What's up, man?
So,
But, yeah, like I was saying before, like I said with the intro, like, it's a decent intro, but it ain't the worst thing ever, I guess. But, what'd you guys think of, like, the opening scene, like, with the Season 3 callback? I personally actually really liked it, but I have seen some people saying that it was boring and, like, slow and stuff.
oh, I loved it. I can't see that. It's
Yeah.
a cool callback, and it's just cool. I don't know. I like it.
It's one of my favorite openings in a while.
Yeah, and I know this is minor, but I actually would like to get your guys' thoughts on this as well. They've got guns back. Like, it's not medieval anymore. Like, they just straight up have, like, assault rifles and all that again, which, me personally, I'm happy to see the guns back, but, like, what do you guys think about having the guns back on the show?
I think it's cool. It's nice. Like, it kind of shows, oh, it's the final season. We're going to go all out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That actually kind of Rowdy actually just brought up something that's kind of cool. Actually, now that I think about it, is that you kind of think about it this way. Yeah, they do season 9 and 10 almost like a medieval and show that how things are changing. But it's almost like, in a weird way, season 11, it's the final season. It comes full circle to the beginning. Guns are back now for one final time, and it's kind of like one final experience with the guns. I don't know. In that sense, I kind of like it. I'm gonna be honest.
To return to form, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking if there's anything else in this episode that I want to say, positive or negative here. I'm just thinking, I want to scheme over everything. Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. We got the Wall of the Lost a lot earlier than I expected. Like, I didn't think we were going to be seeing the Wall of the Lost until, like, episodes 4 and 5 territory, but they just straight up threw that in episode 1, which I thought was great. They're not delaying the Commonwealth storyline at the moment. They're actually, like, really, like, delving into it and really starting to, like, explore, like, this location more now.
Man, not only did they explore the Commonwealth storyline a lot earlier, or the Wall of the Lost storyline a lot earlier than I thought, but man, good old non-spoiler reviewers just straight up said it was in this episode too. That was real nice.
Oh man, there's people out there spoiling it in the non-spoiler reviews. That's lovely.
Oh, I knew this was going to be in this one. I was like, man, that would have been a really fun surprise. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying though, just on a positive note, I love it though. I think it's well done. And I actually got to add to this scene as well. It's the scene right before, and I forgot. I don't know if any of us mentioned this part yet, but I love the part. It's such a small scene, but it's cool on Ezekiel and Princess's end, is that you got them, and then a Commonwealth soldier, kind of finds them, and they're just like, hey, where are you taking them? And then Ezekiel and like Princess have to kind of improvise. And they're like, "Yeah, that's what I want to know. This is bullshit." You know, like I like how they just immediately played it off. I don't know. That was
That's
cool.
great.
They're good. I mean, I love Ezekiel and Princess. She's really starting to grow on me.
I could see Princess and Ezekiel having like a relationship, not like a boyfriend. No, I'm not saying like I'm like dating. I mean like like kind of like a cool friendship type of going on.
Brother
Yeah.
sister-ish type.
Yeah. I could see. I'm actually curious. Could you guys see them adapting the Princess Mercer storyline?
At the moment,
Hmm.
no, because Mercer seems very standoffish and more villainous. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, he straight up comes off as more of a villain type character in this, and it's this shot that actually gave me kind of a bit of chills, is when you got that dude sitting in that room, and the characters are walking by, you just have him sitting in that chair, and you just have Mercer standing over him, looking like he's about to, like,
Oh.
beat the shit out of him or something.
I love it.
Yeah.
Man.
I wonder what reprocessing is. I wonder, like, do they kill you?
I don't think
know.
so, because the characters that have been there for 9 months said they've been reprocessed a few times.
Which, in my
Yeah.
opinion, what I think is going to happen, or what reprocessing is I think it means that they find a way to brainwash you and mind trick you and mind screw you. That's why, like that one guy when he was like, "We've been here for 4 months," and then she's like, "No, 9," or something like that. Like he's been screwed with. They both have.
Yeah.
They
You know what I think, like,
probably
reprocessing could start with? Is that video of Lance Hornsby that we saw from the Comic-Con trailer.
Yeah, maybe a way to kind of make people, think, like how, this is, we're not lying to you, stuff like that. Like, this is real and all that stuff. Maybe for the people that don't believe or people that want to call it
Yeah.
BS and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if you're
Exactly.
still like calling bullshit, maybe they torture you.
Well, we saw Mercer, like, I don't know if he's actually going to, but we straight up, it looked like he was going to beat the crap out of that guy. Like, I don't know. It looked like a torture room, in my opinion.
Yeah,
This is what I think about Mercer. Just, I'm just going to say, because I feel like this is what they want us to think, which props to them, because, well, I will say, I do think it is working, is that I do think Mercer, they're trying to play it off as that it's like, this is some evil dude, more kind of evil than the comics. I think they're doing this just to throw us off. I think he's still going to be like the comics. I just think that they're kind of doing this almost to put us in Eugene, Ezekiel, Princess, and Yumiko's, like, shoes for once, where it's like, oh shit, this guy's pretty freaking like, ugh, like I don't like this guy. This guy seems pretty evil. And then as you enter the Commonwealth, you're gonna find out, and they're gonna kind of pull this twist for the TV only viewers. Is that, man, this tough leader guy of this military is actually pretty chill, dude. He actually lives like an alright life. He's just really strict with his rules. That's honestly what I think this is.
Here's my prediction, personally, is he's going to start off as a villain. Like, I think they are going to change it up a bit just to throw off, like, comic readers as well. I think he's going to start off as a villain, and then I think he's going to flip in, like, the second half of the season.
That's exactly what I mean. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I like how they're showing they're showing a much darker side to the Commonwealth that they didn't show in the comics. Like, in the comics, they were shown to be brutal, but they are also shown to be more nice and welcoming. Like in the comics, like there was none of this interview shit really. It was more like one thing, and then you're part of the community now.
Exactly.
Well, I want to hear what I want to hear what.
You lagged out a bit there, Cade.
Yeah, exactly.
Commonwealth deserves. Who do you think it's going to get?
He's cutting out.
You're cutting out,
Who's gonna
Cade.
get what? Who's gonna get what?
He's cutting out. But I will say this, man, it's kind of I'm gonna use this as an example for Mercer. It's like, man, I'm honestly gonna go kind of because this is how they're doing it. They're trying to trick TV viewers that are comic readers and stuff. And I'm like, man, it's kind of almost like Negan. What Negan would say is, it's like, man, funny how a little holy shit reprocessing lights a fire under everybody's ass. Like that's what this is, man. I'm telling you, it's like legit. Just them trying to make TV viewers nervous, which I don't know. I got to appreciate, because even for TV viewers, we're still second guessing.
Yeah, and we all here, I'm assuming everyone here has read the comics, and give me a sec, guys. The world crashed here. All right, back to what I was saying. Yeah, like even with the comics though, I do think they're still gonna throw us off. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but didn't Angela say she was gonna be like remixing a bunch of stuff from the comics and like changing a bunch of stuff up?
She is.
That's what I'm thinking. We could see Evil Mercer potentially.
Agreed.
Imagine they do
Yeah.
this. What if Mercer is like a villain and he's like a evil character, and Lance is actually a good character? Like, what if they like completely switch the roles?
I think Mercer is going to be a little rough around the edges when it comes to kind of like accepting new people. I almost think in a weird way he's almost going to be like that right hand man to the big leader, the Commonwealth. That he's almost like the Daryl, if you get what I'm saying. Like how Rick always like is more trusting of new people almost at times. Like Rick kind of more is like that leader that thinks things through. Whereas Daryl always looks at Rick and he's always like, man, this bullshit. We can't trust these folks. Like, that's kind of what I think Mercer is. Like, he's just like that really, kind of more, even like, just that right-hand man that kind of doesn't want to, trust people, while the big leader is more open to it, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, one thing is for sure, I feel like season 11, they're really going to push the TV original stuff this season. Like, they've already done it a lot in season 9 and 10, but I could see them going really like over 80% original stuff. Only really
Same.
adapting maybe Dwight's death or other stuff. And I could see, like, I wonder, because obviously at some point, like, Daryl, Maggie, and Negan, they're going to end up at the Commonwealth at some point. I wonder, are they going to have to go through this whole processing shit, or are they just going to skip over that?
How do I watch the new episode? It'll either be out tomorrow on AMC DeRosa or friggin' on AMC Plus. They release every episode a week early now.
Yep.
Which personally, I mean, I think you guys can agree to this, I am completely against.
Well, it's a bit of a pain, but man, speaking of TV original plots, I would actually like to hear what you guys think about this here, is with the Reapers and all that, and everyone in the chat as well. What do you guys think of the Pope casting? Because we have not talked about that yet with anyone really, and now's actually a perfect time to kind of discuss it. I think the guy's name is like Richie Coster, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they've casted him on now, and they've released screenshots, and I've been hearing mixed things from the general public. A lot of people actually really like him, and then I've been hearing some people saying that they can't stand the look and all that. I'm just curious to see where everyone on the stream is at with it.
I don't like it. Okay, think about it this way. This is kind of how I would sum it up in terms of a reaction, is that visually, I hate it. I hate the mustache, the gloss. It's weird. I'm sorry. It's just like, it doesn't make me scared. But here's the thing, and keep this in mind, guys, is that not every villain visually is going to be scary. Sometimes it's just the way they act that can be like, kind of make you be like, oh shit, man, I judged it too soon. So those words exactly is what I'm going to use going forward with it. I don't want to judge it too soon. I can certainly speak on visually I don't like it, but I'm not going to judge it in terms of a character so far.
Yeah.
Well, I can say this. Back in season 3, when they first released the first, look at the governor and stuff, I was just saying, like, I was disappointed. I was very disappointed in what the governor looked like. And nothing against David Morrissey and stuff like his looks. I mean, I'm just saying, like, as the governor, I didn't think it was appealing or scary or anything. And then, well, you see where we are now,
Yep.
Yep, I agree, and like, yeah, this guy who they casted for Pope, like, I mean, he's a pretty big actor, so I'm sure he'll do a great job. It's just when you think about the name Pope, right, and he's a leader of this big scary group called the Reapers. Do you really envision him?
No. Man,
Well,
you know who I envision? Cigar Guy.
Yeah, for anyone in the stream who doesn't know who Cigar Guy is, basically there was this picture that was floating around on the internet for quite a few months now, and at the time we all thought it was Pope, but it turned out to be a potentially other character in the Reapers. In my opinion, though, I think it's just an extra on set, though. I'm gonna be honest.
An extra, like, in between takes that decided to finally just take his mask off and take a little breather and have a cigar until the next scene. Like, that's probably what that literally is.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
But as I was saying earlier, I was gonna say is that in the the comics, right? They tell Mercer says to Rick, "You're the leader the Commonwealth deserves." And who do you guys think is gonna get that if they're ever gonna do it at all?
For what?
It's a line from the comics where Mercer says to Rick, "You're the leader the Commonwealth deserves," and who will, like, get that adapted to them on the show. And to answer that question, unfortunately, I'm gonna say Maggie. Unfortunately.
Let's say. I
Same.
mean, if anyone, I hope it would be Gabriel, but then that would mean Gabriel gets that death. And like, sure, it's a big character, but for that death, if it's adapted, it needs to be a big character, not just Gabriel's not big enough.
No.
I just see it this way because they've already talked about Maggie in this kind of particular way, and I'm going to use 1017 as an example of this. It's like, you've been in charge of people your whole life, haven't you? Like, they've already, in a weird way, set it up, and this is another thing I want you guys to pay attention to. And if you guys say, oh, Dan, you're reading too much into this, that's fine. Honestly, I'm just going to still say this, is that I do have to kind of notice a little bit that when they announced the final season of Walking Dead, who was the one narrating that final season trailer? Who was the one that was like really doing the narrating, and again, like, if you guys say I'm going into this too much, that's fine, but I just would find it an interesting coincidence that the one that they claim has been, a very much in charge of people for a long time, and they claim a good leader, even though, well, I personally disagree, but I'm just saying that it's like, it'd be interesting if the one that narrated the first final season trailer is actually the one that takes that big death,
Yeah.
Exactly. And we'll be on for about 5 to 10 more, guys, but final question I'll ask here, just for some season 11 stuff, is when do you think the rest of the Commonwealth characters are going to arrive? So, like, Lance, Stephanie, Pamela, and, like, Sebastian and all that.
I won't be answering that because I unfortunately know it, so I'm going to stay out of this.
Same here. So I'm not gonna say, but I don't know. I just won't say anything.
Okay, cool. Okay, we'll read off some chat. Hey, Matt, I'm interested in the casting. Hope he does good. Yeah, same here. I hope that Richie is good for the role. Like I said, the actor seems good. It's just the look that the show has given him. Because I've seen him in other stuff, and he does not look like how The Walking Dead has him looking. Like, they've completely given him a weird look, in my opinion. But acting-wise, should be great.
Yeah, well, hey, if Pope's a good villain, Pope's a good villain.
Exactly. But like Kate said a few minutes ago, like, and I can actually attest to this, because originally I thought the same thing. I couldn't stand David Morrissey as governor, like, before I watched the show. Keep in mind, guys, I hopped on during season 6 times, but when I saw screenshots of him, I was like, he doesn't look proper to the comics at all. And then I watched his performance, and I was like, no, I'm fully on board with this.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it just shows you, and keep in mind, not only did David Morrissey, really reassure us to being a good villain, but use this as an example, guys. He's one of, and I'm speaking for myself here, obviously, but I've also seen this in the fan base, is that the governor is literally one of, like, people's least favorite villains in the comics, and he's, like, for me at least, my favorite villain from the TV show. So, they not only did they surpass it, they definitely succeeded. That's for sure.
Agreed. That's gonna go to Beta for me, but yeah, Governor's second place.
For me, my favorite villain from the show, from me, has got to be Owen from the Wolves, and I'll tell you why, which is what an idiot would say.
Yeah. Negan, like, the thing is with Negan, like, though he's my favorite character, just as a villain, he's just alright. But as a character, he's honestly the best in the show.
Agreed. Yeah, as a villain, he's whatever, but as a actual character, well, you guys, it's no secret, he's my favorite character on the show at the moment.
Overall,
You know what? Which actually makes me wonder of this question a little bit, is that Negan in season 10, for me at least, obviously this is just my opinion, obviously here, but Negan in season 10, and I know Matt and possibly the rest here will agree with this, is that You know, Negan in season 10 is the best Negan we've seen. So the
Agreed.
question I
Agreed.
have, and I actually do want to ask this for everyone here, the chat and everyone here, do you guys think that season 11 Negan is going to either meet up to season 11 or season 10 Negan, what they did with him in season 10, or do you think there's a chance they could actually surpass and somehow, some way make him even better?
Well, I'll say, so far from 1101, he's been amazing. So, obviously I'll need more before I can say he's surpassing, but so far he's doing really good.
I'll say this: there's a way. There is a way.
Exactly. There's no comic storyline. They can do something completely original. Like, you know, that's what I'm saying.
Well, everything Negan related now in The Walking Dead, yeah, there's no more comic material to go off of here, so, yeah, frickin' everything going forward now with Negan is TV original. I will say, though, surpassing Season 10 Negan, that is going to be very tough, because friggin' in Season 10, you have the Alpha storyline where he kills her, you have Here's Negan, you have the stuff at 1014, I'm like, that's going to be tough to beat, though, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'm saying, like, there could be ways. There really can be.
Yeah.
Of
You know,
course, yeah.
honestly, I don't even think, which this is the other thing I don't technically think is over. You know, like when Matt brought up a few minutes ago that everything going forward with Negan is TV original. For season 11, I agree. However, for the Negan spinoff that Jeffrey D. Morgan has been, you know, talking about or whatever, I think they're going to definitely cover Negan Lives and expand on that. But that's just my point of view.
That'd be
Yeah, I can
cool.
see. Yeah, because at this point, like, they're not gonna exile him like they did in the comics. Like, he's an Alexandrian now. I mean, everybody's gonna treat him like crap for a while, but he is an Alexandrian, unlike the comics.
Yep, exactly. Hey, Matt, what are your honest thoughts and opinions on AMC Plus subscribers spoiling The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 1? Well, okay, here's my opinion on that, right? If you've seen the episode early, which I'm assuming, like, most people have anyway, and you're posting it out there for everyone to see and not putting spoiler warnings, in my opinion, you're being a jerk and you're ruining the watch experience for everyone else.
Yep.
I mean,
Which
to be fair, sorry for no, Dan, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna simply say that like that is what we're doing here. You know, like with this stream, and you know, I can speak for myself with my reviews. You know, I've even made it a point, and I'm sure y'all have noticed this week. You know, when I posted my non-spoiler, I was like, okay, non-spoiler. When I posted my spoiler filled review, I made sure to put spoiler filled review. And you know, I do that, and I know people still, you know, they still come at me and they're like, well, I haven't seen it yet. You spoiled it. And I'm like, but if you read it, you'll know that this is a spoiler filled review. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. You know, there are people out there that can, you know, definitely do that, like us on this stream and stuff like that. But in terms of people that upload clips and you're scrolling and you just come upon a clip that you've never seen before, or a death scene, if you will, yeah, that's when I could definitely see the complaints.
Exactly.
Yeah, agreed.
And
Exactly.
I mean, this is the thing. If this says spoiler, I mean, if this says spoiler review, and you click on it, then that's 100% your fault, there, bud.
Yeah,
It is.
I mean, to be fair, like, yes, there's these assholes who are gonna spoil it for everyone, but I also gotta put the blame on AMC for doing every freaking episode, at least for 11A, a week early. It's honestly ridiculous at this point, and I just hope that this isn't a consistent issue. Like, I'm fine with the premiere or mid-season premieres, you know, being a week early. That's fine. You know, you want an incentive to get it, but of having it a week early for every episode, it's basically pay up or get spoiled.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. And honestly, I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. It's basically like Netflix for The Walking Dead. Like everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, have you seen that episode?" And it's like, "Oh no, I still got this one to catch up on." Or, "Oh, I've seen this one." "Oh, you didn't?" "Oh, I've seen the." You know, it's like Netflix. Like everyone's at different spots, and everyone's seen different things, and they're all at different spots in the season. Like when I just hate that. Honestly, I wish that everyone. And I do appreciate AMC Plus because we don't get commercials. That's the one thing I would love to keep, and I'm glad we have that. So I'll be
Yeah.
grateful for no commercials. But the problem lies is that it should still be every Sunday, except for, like Rowdy said, every premiere. Because series finale a week early, excuse my language, are you shitting me? That is going to be all over the place, and you guys know that.
Yeah. Which, AMC finally did this. This should have been done years ago, guys. They finally frickin' actually did this. And, I know there's a lot of Canadians here as well. Is they finally released AMC Plus in Canada. It took them long enough, honestly.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, they've had my TV provider. That was really the only way I had it early. But I got lucky. I'm just saying, though, I'm happy that everyone now in Canada can get it. And that's actually an announcement for anybody that lives in Canada. If you're watching the stream, is that you can get it in Canada now. So,
Yeah. No
Yeah.
more uses of VPN. Just get it and
just
yeah.
watch it.
I don't know. I'll probably end up getting it so I can watch and shit without having to worry about spoilers. Because you know for a fact, let's say for example, let's say Father Gabriel dies in level 8, right? And that's gonna air a week early. That's gonna be everywhere.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a total disaster, but I'm just curious, like, do you guys know this, if they're still releasing the episodes, like, early in, like, New Zealand, even before Sundays now and stuff, or are they not doing that still, or whatever?
I
know
have no
of.
idea.
And I think that was an accident for Fear 15 and 16. I don't think that was intentional.
Okay.
Man, me and Matt, I remember we're talking about this too, because I remember I was, we were struggling to try to like get these episodes, like we were trying to watch some of these episodes, and I remember we even said, me and Matt, I think we ranted on this about 2 months ago. We're just like, man, if this is gonna be how season 11 of Walking Dead is, where you let's say you get an episode, which we didn't know this at the time, like let's say AMC Plus releases an episode on Thursday, and we don't get an episode, and we get like spoilers and death scenes released on like Monday from New Zealand. If that was every week for the final season, that would have been a pain. So
That would have been a
I'm just
disaster.
glad that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the thing is, some people will be like, "Oh, just ghost yourself and don't go on the internet to avoid spoilers." I'm not ghosting myself on the internet for 8 weeks. Fuck that.
Yeah. And, on that note, guys, I am going to be wrapping the stream up here now. I thank y'all for coming and watching, checking out our opinions and all that good stuff. I hope you guys enjoy the episode tomorrow. For those of you that have not seen it on AMC Plus, tomorrow The Walking Dead does return with Season 11, Episode 1. And I'm pretty sure tonight, if you're an AMC Plus subscriber, you're actually going to see 11:02. So be on the lookout for that, guys, because, yeah, that'll be out probably, I think, 3 a.m. tonight. So, I thank y'all for coming, and yeah, guys, I'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.